Blessed day, soul family. Welcome back. Pardon me, things do look differently, and I've got this background that barely fits in the window. Not sure why, but my system is getting fixed, and so tomorrow I should be getting my system back, and I should be doing a normal video. Well, not well, normal as I've been as normal as I've been producing over the past few weeks. It's Wednesday, so today we're doing Wellness Wednesday, and we're looking at this idea of medicine and the word medicine. And we've been we've been looking at so last week we actually looked at the idea of bitterness, eating bitter. Can you eat bitter? We looked at the meaning in Chinese cultural circles about eating bitter, the medicinal component, but also like the kung fu component. Can you accept criticism? You know, bitterness is hard to swallow, but it has truth that can be helpful for you. And that's the concept and the idea of medicine. We talked about war and the idea about war. Can war be medicine if we don't have to actually go and fight, but we continue to live and are blessed to be living in a civil society? So this week we're looking at the Qigong of relationship, the idea of relationship. And my teacher always asked us to search for the deeper feeling, keep continuing to search for a deeper feeling. And Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation, Gong Fu, whatever it was, a particular form, stay curious and look deeper. And essentially what it is embody, continue to embody, and continue to embody. And sometimes we would embody so much, you would think that you want something to feel the same all the time. That means you're replicating it each time the same. What I found is sometimes I was looking for something different. Please give me a different feeling. What is different here? And in order for you to have a different feeling, you have to have some sort of breakthrough. You have to have some sort of coherence, body movement, timing, something that creates this new event and this new experience where now it feels different. And we looked at the philosophy of thirds and the empty space or new space rather, where two things come together and this deeper concept of relationship creates the third. Yesterday we talked about the triad, the Qigong triad, and we did some movement medicine with body, breath, and mind as that triad. We looked at our relationship to gravity. Could we have a sense of gravity and a feeling of gravity that was different than what we usually have? So I say all this because humans want so many things, right? And we want something, once we find it, we consume it to the point that it makes us sick. Nature, we have found, when it comes to fruit on a vine or a tree or a bush, nature's so abundant. And evolutionarily, we've thought it best to consume as much as we can because these berries taste so good. But then we find we just have to heave and throw up because it makes us sick. We've ate so much. We stuff ourselves. And here now, today, it's March 18th, 2026. We have wanted access to information. We have wanted the truth about life, living, the nature of existence, and what people have been up to and doing on this planet and in this plane of existence. And what I've seen is that some people pursue this information to the point that it's made them sick. They've turned away because they don't want to look at it anymore, or they've looked at it and they've been changed forever. They've been triggered or traumatized from that information. And I say all this because of this concept of relationship. Understanding that when you bring yourself into interface, interaction, exchange with something, a third thing gets birthed, if you will. There's a third space that now becomes into existence, comes into existence. So, congratulations, humanity. We've achieved it. We now have the access to the answers we want, and yet there are those of us out there that have been traumatized by that information. So, what does the word medicine mean to you? Last week we talked about eating bitter and bitter as being medicinal. But if you're well, right, and you have no symptoms, then medicine doesn't really mean anything. If you've just been diagnosed as terminally ill, medicine now means something. Medicine can mean life or death. The life or death concept and notion comes from the martial arts training and philosophy and contemplation. And similar to martial arts, battle, life and death, illness and disease bring upon now the concept of survival and life and death. So, what is medicine? Where is medicine? Where does it come from? Do we have influence over medicine in the same way that it has influence over us? And can it tell us more as we explore the nature of relationship? So remember, there's 8 domains to wellness. I'll refresh your memory because it's good for me as well. There's physical wellness, emotional wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, occupational, environmental, and financial. All of these things in Buddhism, the aspects of self are called the aggregates. In Qigong, we look at the 5 regulations: the body, the breath, the mind, energy, and spirit. But in terms of probably a modern definition of well-being and living healthy and well and contributing to one's community on the planet, you have all these domains of wellness: physical, emotional, social, spiritual, occupational, vocational, environmental, and financial. What would be some ideas of medicine that we can conjure within these different domains? Physical medicine, emotional medicine. What might be emotional medicine? Social medicine. What might be social medicine? Yesterday I talked, or last week rather, I talked about the idea of war. Can war be medicine if you have the appropriate amount of distance from it to be in a calm place to approach it as medicine? Spiritual medicine. People, take plant medicine ceremonies and trips to have to maybe cure some spiritual ailments. Occupational and vocational medicine, where gaining personal enrichment and satisfaction from one's work and contributing unique gifts, skills, and talents to the workplace. So, what would be a medicinal component to understanding your meaning of life and your life's purpose? Environmental wellness? What would be medicine for that? And what would be medicine for financial wellness? Surely when surely would it be to win the lottery? I don't know. I doubt it. So what I did was just a quick search online, and then I'll share with you what I found about medicine online. The etymology is its Latin etymology and origin is medicus and medere, which are both physician and to heal. The Indo-European root is med, which means to take appropriate measures or to consider or advise. I really like this root because this brings me to Tai Chi philosophy with appropriate measures, the right amount of energy. Qigong is about this, a right amount of energy as well. If you're doing Kung Fu training, you don't want to overdo it. You want to do the right amount. If you're doing Qigong, you don't want to overdo it. You want the right amount so that it can be medicinal to the body. And then to consider or to advise is interesting. Think about plant medicine. We'll look at this a little bit more. But plant medicine, as it's becoming more popular with ayahuasca, ibogaine, psilocybin, and whatnot, the root word med is to consider or advise. And at its core, it could be said that medicine isn't a substance, it's the act of restoring and finding the middle or measure to moderate or mediate. Interestingly, if you've been following, you know that I study meditation, mediation. Oh wait, no, it does says meditate. I thought it said mediate. I was like, whoa. So moderate or meditate. But this is interesting. The middle path, think about Buddhism. Medicine is a substance and that provides the act of restoring to the middle. And we haven't used the word, but what about balance, harmony, bringing in that Tai Chi philosophy? Pharmakon comes from Greek, panacea is Greek, rupa is Sanskrit, materia medica is Latin, latros is Greek. All these words are different words to mean medicine. Paradoxically, in Greek, the word pharmakon means both remedy and poison. So some of those medicinal mushrooms, right, that could be poisonous to an extent, can be a remedy. So dosage is important, right? I just spoke to that in terms of movement when we often talk about movement medicine. What else? So the word rupa in Sanskrit is linked to form or nature. Health is seen as svatsa, meaning to be established in one's own self. And the word latros means healer, and it focuses on the person as the conduit for the medicine. So a couple of more things. Medicine does come. We also know if you are privy to herbs and herbalism. In this way, medicine is seen as an external nature that helps to correct internal nature. What is maybe lacking or void on the internal landscape can now be supplemented by an external, what would you call it? I can't think of the word, but it's to catch and to 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 ay, ay, ay. Basically to use and to utilize. So there's the doctrine of signatures in ancient botanical philosophy, suggesting that Plants resemble certain body parts, and because of that, they can treat them, for example, walnuts in the brain. And that's not always scientifically accurate, but that kind of shows also somewhat of a relational concept that there is with medicine on the external and interfacing with one's or with the human body. When we look at the concept and the idea of earth and ashes to ashes, dust to dust, humans from earth and will go back to earth, then that means that we can maybe say that all things that come from earth are interconnected and the same and can possibly help and heal one another. In ethnobiology, in terms of culture, in many indigenous traditions, like cannabis or tobacco or cacao, these are called teacher plants or master plants. And they aren't just chemicals, they're seen as entities that provide wisdom or they straighten the spirit. So, interestingly, in terms of relationship interfacing, medicine can and a plant in the external can be some sort of teacher to the human, to the body. Let's see. If the word medicine feels too clinical, other words can help, like physique, an old English term for natural healing and the study of nature. Uh, let's see. Nostrum is used for homegrown, but then it later took on a negative snake oil connotation. Elixir, which is something we talk about in Taoism, the golden elixir. What do we usually talk? I think the golden elixir we liken to the saliva. The internal elixir is what we usually talk about as like the healing Tao that we are in relationship with and have access to bring healing into the body. There's also tincture or infusion, which focus on the extraction or the pulling of the essence or the spirit of the plant. Interestingly, last week we talked about eating bitter and swallowing bitter. Can you eat bitter? Can you take the medicine of criticism? And in West Africa and some Caribbean traditions, bitter is not just for the stomach, it's a spiritual scrubbing. The idea that which is difficult to swallow is often most necessary for growth. So I like to talk about the spiritual aspects of the nature of our realm and existence. Remember that yin and yang, yin yin, yang yin are what the scholars named the physical dimension that can be seen and the non-physical that cannot be seen, but it can be felt. So there's a story I'll share with you. When I was on the mountain, I was hiking in the woods, 240 acres there at the retreat center. And I started to get this sort of scent in the air. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I didn't know what it was. It felt new, it felt different, it felt novel. So my senses were piqued. And, it was kind of, it was light and I could see everything, but in a way there was a darkness because I didn't know exactly what I was smelling, what I was interacting with, or what was interacting me, or maybe what was calling me. I didn't know how to explain it. But think it took like a couple of weeks, maybe a few hikes in the same area. I would get this smell. I'm like, what is that? What is that? And finally, I came to this leaf, and it was a very pointed leaf, green, nice structure to it, very healthy. and it smelled like bubble gum. When I finally got close up to it, it was like, whoa, it smelled like bubble gum. And and I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's what I've been smelling. Finally, like a light bulb going off. That's it. That's what I've been looking for. It's what I've been searching for. Finally, I got it. I can check that off the list because it's been in my mind and I haven't been able to figure out where it is. I haven't been able to come to the place and put my finger on what it is. It makes me wonder about the nature of relationship, the nature of relationship to nature, the nature of interconnectedness and medicine and relationship. And then also the idea or the feeling or the sensation of lacking or not having. If we're connected to everything, how can I feel empty so that once I interface with that thing, I almost in a way feel whole again. So is it separate from me or is it a part of me? And this comes back to this concept of two and one, the yin yang symbol, right? Is it two? Is it one? Is it one or is it two? They're separate, but if there's coherence and if there's function, they can be one. I have two arms that can function as one in one body, two legs that can function, four limbs that can function as one. So remember, within all those domains of wellness, these are some areas that we can look at to see what the medicine, what the protocol might be in this journey of nature gong fu, in this journey of inner exploration and finding the meaning of life in the physical domain or in the emotional domain, in the social domain, spiritual, occupational, environmental, or financial. If there's any one of those areas that's lacking or feel like there's a lack or a hole or an emptiness or a deficiency, Chinese medicine, we talk about deficiencies and excess, then that's likened to inflammation or atrophy. So, can we be open to find the medicine for ourselves? Can we be open to find the medicine for ourselves, to seek and to find so as to restore and initiate rehabilitation and balance and harmony? So that's the wellness idea for today. What is medicine? What does it really mean? What's our relationship to this word? Western medicine, Eastern medicine. And tomorrow on Thursday, we talk about Resolution Thursday. What might be the medicine that we need when it comes to the lack of balance, lack of harmony, um, imbalance of power when it comes to relationship with ourselves or with our loved ones or with our community or with the rest of the species? So that's it for today. And I'll be back tomorrow with another installment of the Martial Mystic, and I should have my system back. I'll be able to show some images and some more text and whatnot. So appreciate your patience. You can find me at yinyangtaichi.org, and remember to embrace the woo. And until next time, may your chi flow smoothly.